my mental health is more important, in maintaining that than, some sense of loyalty that I feel towards this role. We all have to ask ourselves, if we're in a job where we're unhappy, or it's just simply not working, and sometimes jobs just simply don't work. For two data scientists of different backgrounds to come together and help solve a problem, instead of hey, you two each solve a problem and bring me the best result, and I'll decide which one it is, and then that person will get the senior title or something like that.
Good morning. So a new day, a new guest. Today I welcome Matt on 10 Minutes of Hiring Wisdom, who is a hands-on executive who leverages data science, machine learning, and other tactics to arrive at actionable insights internally and externally. He is driven to streamline and improve processes to enhance productivity, which is important because you don't want to be working with a company which is not efficient. Let's welcome Matt on 10 Minutes of Hiring Wisdom, where he will tell us about what he's learned along the way and how we can implement his learning in our day-to-day lives. Hi Matt, how are you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much, Matt. So, Matt, can you tell us about what your role is within the company and where you currently work?
Sure. I'm the Vice President for Analytics and Insights at Pantheon. And Pantheon is a company that offers web operations and web hosting.
Okay. And how did you become a part of this company? As in, like, did you know someone in the company? What was the recruitment process for you like itself?
I actually didn't know anybody here. A recruiter randomly reached out to me on LinkedIn, and I thought it sounded like a really interesting opportunity. And I'm one of those who likes to always say yes to those, because you never know where the conversation's going to go. If anything, you've just got somebody really interesting in your network who's going to think of you, maybe 3 or 4 years down the road. But as I started talking to the recruiter, and she told me, kind of what the company did, I had a flashback to 15 years ago in my career when I had to maintain a departmental website and how painful it was. And so I immediately saw the value in what Pantheon was offering to the market, and thought it was going to be a really great fit, for a really great product market fit, kind of in general. And then what they were looking for out of the role, someone to help build data and analytics, almost from the ground up. Not entirely, but almost, which was really aligned with my skill set. So kept the conversation going.
Okay. I think I'm curious to learn. So, as in, like, of course, I understand that you had that vision and you saw the great product market fit and everything. How did you realize that it was time for you to move on from your previous job onto a new next chapter? Because I think a lot of people are so comfortable and they're scared of change. So, what caused you to move from one company to the next company?
Yeah, so I hadn't been in my previous role for too long. It was a job I had taken right before the pandemic started. I had moved to a new city. I'd moved to Denver from San Francisco, and I really didn't know a soul. And so that was a huge part of it, was wanting to, really be in a role where I got to come back to San Francisco, which is where my social circle was centered, and being here when I thought the world was about to open up. Haha, it didn't. But that was part of it, and then the other part of it is something that, we all have to ask ourselves. If we're in a job where we're unhappy, or it's just simply not working, and sometimes jobs just simply don't work. Sometimes we have to understand that, and do not only what's best for ourselves, but do also what's best for the company that we're at. Nobody was getting anywhere with me being in a job that I didn't like, quite frankly. I wasn't showing up for my team the way that I should and the way that I would on a normal basis, and I wasn't getting what I needed from my boss. And so it was just one of those things where I decided, I think it's time to move on. And sometimes, quite frankly, you just have to cut your losses in a role.
Okay, well, I think the way you phrased it, I think a lot of people would just go suck it up, go for a job that they're not even happy with. And in the end, it would affect their productivity, it would affect their efficiency, just because why would you want to go to work where you're not happy with the people, where you're not happy with the environment, where you're not happy with what you do? So I'm glad that you actually decided to pursue something that you're passionate about. And here you are working with a company with your social network surrounding you, and you're happy in your new role. So thank you so much for sharing that, man. My
Yeah,
next question for you. Sorry,
and
go ahead.
sorry if I could just add one more
Of course.
dimension to that. It's so important for everybody's mental health. We're talking more and more about mental health as a society. You spend so much of your life doing your work. It's roughly a third of your day, every day, and you spend a third of it asleep, and then you spend the other third of it doing cool stuff, hopefully. When it's affecting your mental health, it's something where you really, really seriously have to look and say, my mental health is more important, in maintaining that than, some sense of loyalty that I feel towards this role. Because those tables aren't always reversed. Companies, modern companies aren't terribly loyal to their employees. And so employees should be looking for, something that's better. At least that's what I think.
No, no, I think I completely agree. I think mental health, specifically during the pandemic, a lot of people were isolated. A lot of people started reflecting. And I think that's when people started realizing that there's much more important things than just work. So, feeling peace internally, feeling that sense of satisfaction, either it's going through work, either it's getting through spending time with your family. It's just different things for different people. So, I'm glad you touched upon that just because I think having that sense of purpose when you work with a company that you're passionate about comes internally. And I think that's what the job market is about these days. It's just not about the compensation anymore. It's about looking for a company that makes you excited to go to work, makes you excited to work on something. So I'm glad that things worked out for you, Matt. And I'm glad that you chose yourself before choosing a company just because you are happier, which means that you're working much more efficiently and productively for your new
Yep, thank
company.
you.
So I'm glad. So, Matt, my next question for you would be, what is your team like? You are the VP of a certain team. So, what is your day to day routine like, and whether you're
Mhm.
hiring for
Yeah,
different roles?
so I'm still working on building out a lot of the team. So last year we started small. Hired a few data analysts. One who's focused on our product analytics initiatives. One who's focused on our strategic initiatives, and then someone who is helping us support our business intelligence platform. I've got someone new starting on Monday who I'm very, very, very excited about, and she's going to be helping us kind of really build up our business intelligence and our self-serve analytics capabilities more than anything. And then I've got a group of roles that are posted right now that are some of the most exciting roles that I've ever posted, I think, in my career. In data and analytics, we've got a new discipline that's been emerging over the past couple years, specifically around data product management. And it's very different from product management. It's data product management. You come at it with a different set of sensibilities and how you're going to activate and make useful all the data that's been collected. And so I'm building a team that's going to help me focus and develop data products at Pantheon.
Okay, I love that. I loved how many different people have different capabilities that they're working on, and how everyone has a certain aspect. Just because I think in the past, a lot of roles decided to merge into each other. So it's interesting to see that you have those niche skilled people who are working on certain capabilities, which is interesting itself. So, Matt, last question would be, what is your team culture like? I think there's so much emphasis on culture these days. There's so much emphasis on values these days. What kind of people would you want to be a part of your team that you think would thrive in the work environment,
Mhm.
working with
Yep.
your members?
I would describe the culture as highly collaborative. And the last two teams that I've run have kind of been in that space. I'd say the last three teams, where I'm not setting people up to compete against each other. I'm not setting them up to compete against each other for promotions, for advancement, for the best projects. I'm hiring experts in their disciplines to work with each other. For two data scientists of different backgrounds to come together and help solve a problem instead of, hey, you two each solve a problem and bring me the best result and I'll decide which one it is. And then that person will get the senior title or something like that. No, it's and I think this is going to be the future of highly creative office work. Is how do we take our own individual specialties, join it with somebody else's individual specialties, and use that to build something really great for the company, and hopefully really great for society at large. But it's really all about that collaboration, people that are able to work with each other, people that are able to learn from each other, who are willing to learn from each other, and who are able to teach each other. I think those are, kind of the best formed teams, and the ones that make me really excited to be a part of.
No, no, what a great environment to work in, because I think usually what you said could be summarized in saying that the inputs are smaller than the output. So two people combining their inputs would have a larger output, as opposed to just one person working on one certain thing and having an output that would be smaller considerably. So thank you for sharing that, Matt. I think anyone would be lucky to work under you, would be lucky to work with your team, just because it seems like a learning experience where you guys understand that, okay, one person is specialized in something. They don't know everything, but when they work together with different members, they will learn something. So thank you so much for sharing that. But other than that, Matt, our time is up. It was an absolute pleasure learning about you, your wonderful company, your team, and how you decided to work with a company, decided to prefer yourself, your mental health before anyone else. And here you are
All
working
right,
with a
thank you so
company that
much.
you're
Have a
extremely
great rest of your
passionate
day.
about. Thank you so much.